Hello, Stephen White, Tripway89 here. Had a little bit of Discovery news, kind of out of the blue, but not really a surprise. When they went into season 2 and they announced, well, when they got to the end of season 1 and they showed the Enterprise, there was the assumption that Captain Pike would appear in season 2 in some manner. I thought it would just be a teaser. There'd be some sort of message, maybe a view screen message, and then Discovery would be off on some mission, and the Enterprise really was just there to get people to watch the next season. To my surprise, they decided to bring Captain Pike on to take over as the captain of Discovery while the Enterprise was being repaired, and they were going to spend the season with Pike basically being the captain of the show and leading the show. Now this made a huge difference in the show. It changed the tone, it changed the format, it changed a lot of it, because originally it was just Michael and her perspective, whereas now it was more a captain leading a crew, and the crew is an ensemble and her as part of the ensemble, which works better because that's what Star Trek is. Star Trek is a captain and a diverse crew resolving problems together by using their diversity, their different opinions coming together, working together. The Starship Enterprise was supposed to be Starship Earth, where all the crew represented all of humanity, and Kirk, Spock, McCoy represented a triconference or a trinity of emotion, logic, action, and it was all part of the makeup of Star Trek, that it was about diversity and differences and combining them. So the show works better. Season 2 is better. It's watchable. Now, part of my perspective is that knowing now that the show isn't canon, it is Prime Universe, which is from the JJ verse and all that, and it doesn't actually have to conform to the canon of the original series and all that. It doesn't bother me so much, just like the Kelvin movies didn't bother me, the JJ movies. I enjoyed them because they were their own universe. Discovery is its own universe, and now even bringing in time travel into it, which we know creates alternate timelines. As soon as you go back and change the past, you're in a different timeline, reality, universe, whatever. So all of that is working for season 2, and I'm not enjoying it, but I don't have the issues I had with season 1. So far as just a sci-fi show, I'm fine. I'm kind of enjoying it on that level. As Star Trek, I still have issues with it because it's still not 100% Star Trek. But all that aside, Pike came on. I assumed it would just be for the year, and then then we found out that Rebecca Ramone was going to be there as number 1. And I thought, wow, maybe we're actually going to see more of them and see them on the Enterprise together or something more. And then it came out that she was just doing a small spot because he was going to be on the Enterprise. He was going to be on Discovery, and she was just coming over from Enterprise because she was going to be staying basically to take care of the repairs. So we got one scene with her, which was amazing. Oh, 2 scenes technically: transporter room and then in the rec hall, eating a hamburger. So we got 2 scenes with her, and she was great. But that's probably all we're going to get. We'll probably get one more scene before she leaves, but she's not going to be a major part of the show as far as we can see. There's only, I think, 4 or 5 episodes left of the season. But yeah, so early in the year, Anson Mount, I think it was February, so it's just last month, Anson Mount and another actor were putting on Twitter that they were basically unemployed. Kind of like it was a surprise or a question. Now, I made the assumption he was just going to be in the show for a year, and supposedly he was only contracted for the year, so why he'd be commenting on unemployment when it wasn't expected does seem odd. So we've had an article come out basically establishing that yes, they are leaving at the end of the year, they're not going to be season 3. Now, when it first came out that he was saying he was unemployed, implying he wasn't going to be on for season 3, people were questioning, is there going to be season 3? Is this a sign the show has been cancelled, or he's been told it's not coming back, or they don't know if it's coming back? But it appears as though he was just commenting on his role in the show and his contract, and the fact that he wasn't coming back and he was now unemployed, whereas the show is apparently renewed for a third season and will go on. So I wasn't surprised. I was surprised that people were surprised that there had to be an official statement that they weren't returning for the third season. But the interesting part about it, the gossipy part about it, is that, and why they'd report this and mention this if it isn't anything, is that he had a on-set altercation with a director. Apparently they were going through a scene, blocking a scene before filming, and at some point through the debate or discussion about how this should be done, or the character or something, he came into contact with the director, which could mean a million different things. Accidentally bumping into, gesticulating, it could be just bumping into someone, could be just touching someone, could be putting a finger on someone, it could be something very small that someone's blown up, or it could have actually been an argument that got physical. We don't know. And the conspiracy theory is that, of course, that had something to do with the fact he's not coming back for a third season. Now that, you can dismiss that as well, that's just people making assumptions or speculating, which it is. But we did already have 2 showrunners leave because writers wanted to go to HR because they were being abusive to the writers. Apparently they were swearing and screaming over the desk at people in the writers' room, and there may have been some physical stuff happening, sort of implied but not actually stated. It was probably just verbal, emotional. So they were removed, and then Kurtzman took over until they brought in, I think, Michelle Paradise, who now is the co-showrunner along with him. I think he had it by himself for a couple of episodes, and then they brought her on as a writer and decided that she worked for the show, so now she's going to be a co-runner for, I don't know if it's the rest of season 2 and season 3, or just from season 3 on. I'm not sure how that would go contractually. But so that's the interesting part. What was this altercation? Was there more to it? Is it being mentioned for a reason? And did it have anything to do with him not coming back? It probably didn't. If he was already contracted for 1 year, story-wise, I don't see how Pike would fit into the show long-term, because at some point the Enterprise is going to be repaired. Discovery needs its own captain, so it was not going to last. Although I personally wished they would just do a Pike series. When I watched the JJ films, I thought, they're going to do a TV series after this. They're either going to recast the characters and have a TV series running alongside or running after the movies with a more affordable cast of unknowns as opposed to the actual actors, and use the style and sets and just the JJ verse. Or they'll do a Captain Pike series which avoids having to recast everyone, just have get Bruce Greenwood to actually play Pike, or maybe, because it could be before the events of the films where he, spoiler, died. Or they could just recast him, and then it's really only one character to deal with, because the crew, it's an alternative universe, they can have any old crew on there, they don't have to have any of the characters who are in the cage. And even if they did, I don't think any of them were depicted in the films. So they had a lot of free range to do that. So that's what I thought they would do, and that's what I wish they would do. I wish they would just do a series with Pike at number 1 on the Enterprise, and Discovery can do its dark thing, which doesn't totally work with Star Trek and all that, and the just having the perspective of Michael Burnham, the one small character, and they can do their own show, like Deep Space Nine did its own thing, which wasn't particularly Star Trek. It was very anti-Star Trek in design that way. They got away with so much of that because Voyager was on at the same time, and we had, pure Star Trek, so we could do something a bit different, and you could keep both sides of the fandom happy, the more general fans that don't really get Star Trek, and the people who are more purists who want, qualities, full Star Trek. So I thought if they're going to have different Star Treks on, they can diversify it in this way, so that's what I was hoping for. But and there's no reason why they still can't do that. They don't have to go with the Section 31 show, or they could do the Section 31 show and a Pike show. They've already got the Enterprise set, apparently. They built a set, so we're apparently going to see Pike on the bridge of the Enterprise at the end of the season, I'm guessing. Or towards the end, if there is some big battle, somehow with the Red Angel, something to do with the Red Angel, or the Klingons come back or something. They could have the Discovery and the Enterprise fighting together, because they built the bridge set, they've got some uniforms, they've cast some characters. We should see a little bit more before the end, but that's what I was hoping they'd do. So that's our news, basically. Anson Mount and Rebecca Romijn are not returning for season 3 as their characters. There's the report of a fight happening, or some sort of interaction that led to HR being consulted, but no disciplinary actions towards Mount, and suppose it had nothing to do with this. This is purely story related. He was brought on for the year, that's it. The contract was for a year, that's it. But with all the drama behind the scenes, it's not entirely possible there isn't more to this, because they have misled us on many points and misrepresented the facts and the situation and the copyright and a lot of things behind the scenes. So basically, until the NDAs run out, non-disclosure agreements, that they all sign when they contract onto these shows, we're not really going to know what really happened behind the scenes, or until these actors are sure they're not going to work for Star Trek or with any other creatives involved, then they'll start talking about what happened behind the scenes, like the current Star Trek Next Generation stars are doing, and the Enterprise stars are doing now. The NDAs have expired, and they kind of know they're not going to be on the show again, although Picard kind of came out of nowhere, and some of the Next Gen actors could end up on that show. So Marina Sirtis might have spoke too soon about not working with Paramount ever again, although it's CBS now, but still. So who knows where it's going to go, who knows. But the speculation was interesting. The behind the scenes drama is interesting. There does seem to be a bit of there did seem to be a bit of a toxic work environment. So whether this has how much this has affected the actual storyline, the development, the direction, anything is interesting, and it will be interesting to see how it all comes out later on. But that's the news. It's not a lot. It's kind of interesting, but not entirely surprising. I just wanted to say something about it, and hopefully you've gotten something out of this, and feel free to like or subscribe or comment. And if you have any suggestions for me, feel free to comment. Thanks. See you in the next video. Bye.